Hello, my Cobra friends. I don't think I've ever done a reading for you. Let's see what we have here. So, of course, the Cobra is your significator, indicating your energy at the moment. We have pausing, waiting, the inner teacher. The Cobra represents a teacher or spiritual guardian. The Cobra hovers and watches, ever present, ever protecting, ever loving. The essence of the Cobra is found deep within us in the form of the inner teacher, and manifests externally in those special guides who've led us along our path. What would it feel like to be a student again? What are you ready to learn? Remember the old saying, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. When in balance, a student of life, humble and wise. When out of balance, a know-it-all, egocentric. To bring into balance, taking a class, studying. So, taking from my Qigong training for a minute, there is a posture in a Korean form of Qigong that I sometimes practice called Snake Shelters Buddha, and it specifically refers to a cobra coming out from underneath a platform, I think, and spreading its hood. So this is a giant cobra. So the cobra spreads its hood wide and bends over the top of the seated Buddha who is meditating to shelter him from the rain that has begun. It's an interesting pose. But it's especially interesting in the sense of this teacher idea. In Asia in general, I believe, there's a very different idea about teachers than when the student is ready, the teacher appears, which is that it is the responsibility of those who know to teach. And the teacher should try to find students, not simply hoard their knowledge, their wisdom. So, in case that's relevant for any of you, I thought I would share that. All right, next up, we have your tea leaf cards to help you determine whether or not this is your reading. We have the egg, success is assured with good plans and hard work. And quill, get back to basics. Well, those two seem to go together well. We have cobweb, protected from negative forces beyond your control, and great personal sorrow. Then we have bag, something important such as a new job or a raise. And club, someone will try to make you do something against your will. And finally, you got a bonus card today. Crib, birth or conception of a child or enterprise. So it does not have to be a child. It could be a business or some other kind of thing. So that's to help you determine whether or not this is your reading. And of course, now we look at tarot. I decided to use the field deck today, which I think is based pretty closely on the Thoth deck, which I considered for you initially. And I pulled them ahead of time today because that's the way things worked out. Okay, so first up, we have the Seven of Cups in reverse and the Four of Wands in reverse. The Seven of Cups is about choices, also about confusion, because us human beings do not do well when we have too many choices. 2 or 3 choices are great, more than that, and we get very confused and have trouble making a decision. So, having the Seven of Cups in reverse, either some kind of clarity has emerged in you, you have made a choice and you are ready to go, but you're not happy about that choice. Or you are very, very confused and not making a decision. There's no clarity at all. And again, there's a lot of unhappiness as a result. We have the Four of Wands next to that, which represents, to me, your community, your family, your lifelong friends, people that are in it for the long haul, not casual friendships or anything like that. But you have it in reverse. This can be, of course, a card of celebration with friends and family. But having it in reverse, there's no celebration, and I have serious questions about your community. Maybe you do too. Next we have the Nine of Wands and the Eight of Cups. The Nine of Wands, I call this my Wounded, Wary, and Weary card. So wounded is pretty obvious. Wary is feeling a need for caution, feeling like you have to be on guard, you have to be aware, you have to beware. Beware of what? And then we have, and then of course weary is just tired, worn out, which would explain the retreat, of course. So the Eight of Cups isn't really describing, like going on a retreat, which might be a good idea. Usually it's more about walking away from situations, people, relationships, emotional baggage that no longer serves you. And you have two more cards on top of that. The Prince of Cups in the uncertainty position, and the Six of Discs in reverse. So this combination is suggesting someone who is perhaps manipulative with their emotions. They share their emotions, perhaps overshare their emotions, but they don't really take responsibility for their emotions, and they don't do it out of a sense of wanting to create true intimacy or openness. Maybe they don't know how. Some people overshare because they grew up in high control environments, and that was kind of expected or trained into them. And other people do it because, well, it's a form of manipulation. So I certainly don't know which is the case here, but it's something to keep in mind. If there is sharing going on, is it true sharing or is it manipulation? Because this Six of Pentacles is in reverse, which suggests a certain element of selfishness in whatever is happening. All right, next we have, what does the universe think of all this? Well, this is interesting. Right off the bat, a quest and round table, collaboration, team project, be heard support group, know where you're going, also leaving no one behind, relocation and dependable, perhaps healthy debate. And yet, see now this is more like what I was expecting. We have yarn all tangled up, a very knotted situation. The one thing I would say to you as a longtime knitter is that yarn tangles can be surprisingly easy to unravel once you get over your intimidation, because they can look pretty scary. So maybe easy isn't the right word, but don't let yourself be intimidated if you are in a very complicated circumstance. Just be persistent and positive. This round table approach is a good idea. Of course, if you're dealing with toxic people, they'll just use it as a way to manipulate the situation, so maybe not such a good idea if that's the case. Now, I am really not sure what's going on with this fireworks card, unless you're in the kind of situation where people tend to explode. But it does say happiness. Oh, perhaps this is a wish. Are you wishing for a miracle? For your dreams to come true? Going places. Interesting. All I'm not sure whether you're actually wanting to go someplace or if this is, you had retreat in here. Some sort of, so that's a big deal. Let's see what else comes out for that. Well, yes. Okay, whether or not you are a woman or the person on your mind is a woman, you have met a soul connection and it has blown apart your life. It is changing how the entire course of your existence. That's how they work. They're supposed to do that. It's course disruption, rethink priorities, different path. It may feel like a huge setback. That doesn't mean it is. It is going to require a great deal of work on your part. It is not going to be easy. And yes, there's a lot of chemistry usually. And sometimes it feels like a wish come true. Until maybe one of you runs away with this ship card here, voyage card. Yes, if you are truly in this kind of connection, you have a lot to learn. You also have a lot to let go of. It is time for you to change the direction of your life, and certain things must be released. While you learn confidence to trust your inner knowing, your inner guidance. So if you are here asking whether or not you are in a soul connection, it seems likely that you are. There is a account online called Sweet Spot Soul. I think that's what it's called. She has some informational videos you might find helpful. The recent ones are good. The older ones I don't think are very good, but that's my opinion. You are definitely going to have to come to your own opinion about all of this. Do your research. Don't jump to any conclusions. That's my advice. There's a lot of people out there with a lot of different ideas. And the truth of the situation is nobody actually knows what they're talking about because it's the divine. How do we know the mind of the divine? Some people are absolutely convinced they know. And I don't see how that's possible. But, like I said, do your research. Come to your own conclusions. Trust your inner knowing, your inner guide. Let's see if there's anything else you need to know. I see it as an enormous journey of healing and spiritual development, personal development, spiritual development. Other people see it as healing a lot of past lifetimes stuff. So even stuff from previous lifetimes, many, many lifetimes. Some people say it's healing your entire family line. I have a lot of trouble with that just because of my own personal spiritual beliefs. But yes, there are lots of obstacles ahead of you. There will be solitude, delays. You will be stubborn. But there will be achievement, maturity, development. I don't know where you are at in your journey. Maybe I should ask that first. Or maybe you're all, as a collective, you're all over the place, so there isn't any one answer. Because I'm not getting any cards. All right. I think the answer is that some of you are at the beginning, some of you are in the middle, some of you are closer to the end. And it's very cyclical, so even when you think you're in one spot, you may be in a completely different place than you think. All right, I'm going to get you some archetype cards because that will... Healing is absolutely necessary for this. Not healing so that you can be with their person, but healing to help you get through this experience as quickly and I would like to say easily, but it's not going to be easy. Well, just to help you at this moment. What do you need to hear from the archetype cards? The Sustainer. Choose sustainability. This is definitely a marathon kind of experience, not a sprint. Okay. I don't usually do this, but I think it's appropriate for this reading. Here we go. I like to stop at 3 for this. Okay, 24 at the top, the Sustainer. I haven't read this one very often, actually. The Sustainer, the Peacemaker, the Upholder, the Preserver. The Sustainer, the second archetype in the trio of existence, works behind the scenes tending to the tasks of life. They cultivate gardens, pay bills, keep the meals warm, and the mouths sweetly fed. The Sustainer is at peace in the process of life, knowing there is no start or finish to humble yet meaningful tasks. They have a natural inclination to nourish others, to archive, to preserve Earth's resources, to consider environmental impact, to see their role in the divine cycle of life. It's common for the Sustainer to become overworked, leading to resentment. Their tasks aren't glamorous, and therefore the Sustainer rarely receives this credit or attention. The Sustainer longs to hold things in place so badly, especially relationships, that they resist necessary change. Take time with this archetype. It is within us all and needs our love. You might want to be the steward instead of the Sustainer. She doesn't have a stewardship card, but I think it's an important and almost always overlooked archetype. When light, abundant, generous, supportive, reliable. When dark, overworked, resentful, trapped, tired. Contemplate what truly sustains you. Make a list. Notice how simple yet powerful those things are, and spend some time tending to them. Take note of the difference between maintaining and sustaining. Which action describes your life more accurately? All right, now we have number 2, the Father, the Great Father, the Protector. Alongside the Mother, the Father resides in the central axis of the archetypal family. The Father embodies both light and dark aspects of the masculine, thus he is infinitely dynamic and complex. His energy is strong and regal, embodying such virtues as honesty, wisdom, and loyalty. Yet ironically and simultaneously, the Father is often absent, literally or emotionally. Through absence or action, the Father eventually reveals that he is neither a king nor a god, but a human being with many flaws and wounds. He is both the guardian and the one who leaves us to the wolves. Here, yet gone, the champion and the failure. The Father can never resolve or escape this duality. It is inherent in the archetype itself. Witnessing the Father's limitations allows the child to grow beyond the family and into the world. I would add that I see emotional regulation as a very important part of a healthy father archetype. But often that's lacking. When light, supportive, strategic, regal, kind authority. When dark, disappearing, disappointed, devastated by failures, out of control of their emotions. Read poems about the Father. Sharon Olds' His Stillness, William Blake's Little Boy Lost. Become a student of this masculine energy. Watch the Father in movies and Shakespeare plays. See the Father as a pattern, not a person. Next we have 18, the Siren. The temptress, the seducer, the femme fatale. The siren calls and the world spins. What we thought we wanted pales in comparison to the sweet allure of her song. We find ourselves lost in a spell of desire and longing, perhaps even lust. Whether the thing calling to us is ultimately good or bad is somewhat irrelevant. It's the journey that matters. And the work of the siren is to take us on a deep psychic descent. Following her song, we go down, 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 to a place where lessons are learned and courage must be rallied to find our way back to dry land. Try as we might, resisting the call may not even be an option, unless, like Odysseus, we bind our hands to the mast of our ship. It's likely, though, that falling for her call is the only way we will come to live more fully on the surface. When light, awakened, sensuality, absorption, arousal. Not quite understanding the absorption. Okay, when dark, wickedness, adultery, wreckage, betrayal, insatiability. Other iterations of this siren archetype include the nymph, the mermaid, and the fairy. They often come in sets of 3 as a trinity of temptation. Embodying the siren archetype requires that we explore things that are taboo. The siren laughs at conventions and constraints. She eats rules. She eats rules. That's an unusual sentence. Okay, 21, the mystic. The seeker, the light worker, the dreamer. The mystic is often misunderstood in our culture, depicted as a wandering or light-hearted daydreamer. Yet, like Shiva, the true mystic plays a critical role in society, remaining fearlessly dedicated to the path of transformation, which I think is what you're called to do. In order to save the world from darkness, Shiva swallows the poison of the world and holds it in his throat, slowly transmuting the liquid into nectar. This is the work of the mystic. They do not fear darkness, but rather sit in the presence of it, harness the potential and latent energy behind it, and embed it with light. They are patient and prudent change makers, seeking growth above all else. Unanswerable questions are the mystic's lifeblood. The mystic revels in mystery, in the great riddle of life, dancing with the forces of light and dark upon its wings. When light, remover of darkness, visionary, ageless. When dark, expects results, seeks attention and recognition. Like any light worker, the mystic must build a relationship with fire. This begins by awakening the inner flame, or tapas, within. And you got the cobra, which of course is the fire element, as your significator. It may seem that the mystic is inward-facing, yet its light beams back to the world with the strength of 1,000 stars. Interesting. And finally, the queen. The empress, the mother queen, the sovereign. Like her counterpart, the king, the queen has a dualistic nature. Either she presides over the realm with grace and eloquence that comes from the heavens to uplift the spirit of others, or she falls into petty, contemptuous moods, casting a shadow across the land. If the king is the ego, the queen is the expression of that ego in the world. She is the lotus's bloom, the dancer's bow, the moon's radiant reflection. When the queen is seated in her rightful and righteous place, she is patient and forgiving. She waits for the grace of God and goddess to move through her, striving and grasping for nothing. To be the benevolent leader, to embody the queen, is to settle into deep trust, resolve, and power. The royal queen fears nothing, for divinity itself cradles her heart. When light, the embodiment of grace, courage, resolve, stillness. When dark, vain, wrathful, self-righteous, demanding. The queen does not accept the hand of a prince, but claims the throne, knowing the king draws near. She is a magnet for the fully embodied masculine and entertains nothing less. Read Cleopatra's monologue in Shakespeare, Antony and Cleopatra, Act 5, Scene 2. Then read about Inanna, Tara, and Hera. So, lots to do there. Okay. Good luck. This is, as I said, a marathon, not a sprint. Be prepared. Till next time.